Good morning and welcome to another show of the Make More Money Now. I'm Patti Pokorchak, small biz sales coach, also with a marketing background, and my co-host is Gerry Black, the marketing copywriter, again with a sales and marketing background. And today it's over to Gerry, and he's going to share his expertise in.
Well, Patti, today we're going to talk about prospecting, one of your favorite topics.
Yeah.
And for entrepreneurs and small business people, this is a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge for everybody to go find new customers and get them to put up their hand and identify themselves as a qualified prospect. So go ahead.
Say, my mantra is always be prospecting.
Yes.
Every day. It's like a daily vitamin, like changing your underwear, taking the shower, always be prospecting. Because even if you're fanatically busy, get up earlier. That's all I can say.
There you go.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're going to talk about, or the thing we're going to talk today about, is prospecting using email.
Excellent.
And I remember years ago, I talked to someone who suggested that cold emailing was a great way to find new prospects and turn them into clients and customers. And I thought to myself, well, okay, so, what's the best way to go about it? Because as you know, if you send an email out to somebody who you've been referred to, then the chances are they're going to open that email. So today I'm going to walk through a couple of a few strategies, and we're going to just talk about how anybody can use cold emailing to find more business.
Okay, I just have I like to call it warm emailing. So cold emailing is what we did, a couple of decades ago before
Right.
we had all the information that we have now. I would call it warm because once you've figured out your ideal target market, then the right industry with the right job title, it's not so cold. Lukewarm. Can we agree on lukewarm?
Whatever gets you through the night.
Okay.
Do what you have to do. Call it whatever you want. I'm going to show. I'm going to show it to you, and it is warm in a sense, and I'll speak to that in a sec. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here.
Okay.
And I'm going to call up. I've just prepared a document today that we're going to kind of refer to here. I'm just going to.
Great.
Just bear with me. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not full screen, but there we go. That's better. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, not surprisingly, when we get an email, and you just have to think of your own habits. The first thing we look for is who's it from, right? Yeah. And because we know whose emails we're going to look at right away, and who's matter, who is sort of part of our day-to-day business. And we also are looking to look at emails we can rule out right away as a sales pitch. And many emails that we get are. So knowing that, the who is it from is kind of the barometer people use. And if you don't have an in, if you're not referred to somebody and you're sending emails, what do? Well, the answer is you've got to learn how to write subject lines that get somebody to go, oh, I should check that. Right? Mm-hmm. Because if you don't know how to do that, then you can't get anybody to read your message. You might have the greatest message in the world, but if you can't get them to open the email, you're dead in the water.
Well, it's kind of like the title of a book, right? You get the headline or the title, the subhead, and this kind of outreach is the same thing. You've got like milliseconds to get people's attention. Yeah. So
absolutely. The name of the game is grabbing people's attention, and nobody does it better, surprisingly enough, than the National Enquirer or some of those rags that you see because the headline writers there get paid lots of money. So think headline, think subject line. And the reason they do is because they are highly skilled at distilling down what is it that's going to get people's attention.
Yeah, I guess it's called clickbait now, right? I mean, if you go online and look at like BuzzFeed or TMZ or something, which is the tabloid of social media, see what that,
Yeah. So now I'm going to, one of the tips we're going to talk about addresses that, because clickbait to me implies that they're I mean, this is one of these new terms. These terms come up all the time, and that's one of them. And that to me implies that it's a bait and switch type thing, where it's clickbait, and then oh, that was just to get me to click, and now it's like I'm on something I wasn't really intending to. Misleading. You try and do that in the email world, you'll be dead in the water. You won't have a
Mhm.
chance.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I mean, it's clickbait in that it gets you to click, but then you've got hard content, and your expertise comes through on that.
right, but often they switch the content. It's not often not what they purport it to be. So what happens is it is clickbait. So it
Yeah,
does get you to click, but it's not getting you, it's not getting you, it's getting you to click on something they want you to see, which may not necessarily be something that was implied in the headline or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
That's something we could
Okay.
take for a whole other issue, whole other episode.
Yeah.
So the ideal length that you want for a subject line in an email is about 50 to 50 characters. You can go to 60, but
Okay.
there's a couple of reasons for that. If you were trying to get someone's attention, you would never start talking to them and wind around and finally get to the point after about 30 or 40 seconds, because you just wouldn't do that. Well, in the world of emails, after 50 characters, remember a lot of people are looking at emails on their phone, and what happens is once you get beyond 50 characters, your message is cut off.
Yeah.
So if you don't hit them with your best shot inside those 50 characters, you stand to reason that they'll look at it. They won't even see the point you're trying to make because you're taking too long to make it, and they'll click away. And they won't even look at it because they just won't waste their time. If you don't know how to present a message, this is a potential client talking, that's your problem, not mine.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So here's a couple of cold email subject line examples that I used recently. I sent these out to individuals on my LinkedIn list. The first one went to individuals, 165 people on my list of email connections, or sorry, LinkedIn connections. Second one was sent to advertising agencies, and it was sent out to 82 of them. So 247 emails altogether.
Okay.
But it wasn't sent out as a automatic or anything like that. Each of these was personalized with the person's name. And with the agencies, I think I even had a second degree of personalization, because I said something to the effect of, if you'd like to have a chat, here's how I can add value for ABC agency's name.
Mhm. Right.
So to your point earlier about the cold email, it's warm in that sense. It's not strictly a cold email, but the people that it was sent to were cold. I had no connection to them. I did not know them beyond doing a little bit of research.
Right.
So the intention of the subject line obviously is to get attention. And when you are sending out a cold/warm email, you're really, all you're trying to do is start a sales conversation. You're not trying to sell anything, and that's what happens. And what goes into the email, we'll cover that off in another episode about, and maybe I'll use the body copy for these emails I sent out to show you how to kind of stay above the fray of selling,
Mhm.
but pique their curiosity and very, very gently say, hey, if this sounds like something that might interest you, happy to have a further chat.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
you want to get them to put up their hand and go, hey, you might have something of interest to me.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Make it easy. It's mine.
Exactly. So 247 emails sent, 2 clients brought on
Oh,
from a
great.
cold, one from each of those subject lines.
Okay, great.
Okay. So let's take a look at the 9 tips.
Got it.
So the first one's pretty obvious: offer a benefit. And by highlighting the benefit, obviously they can decide if they want to read on or not. But you must really make sure that that benefit is impactful. Like, to save a few bucks, that's not going to catch anybody's attention because everybody talks about that. So think about how you can change someone's life and try and figure out a way to put that inside 50 characters.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's number one, because remember, they don't know who you are. So you're trying to offer them a potential a promise in that subject line that gets them to say, I think I'd like to know more about that, which is all you're trying to do.
Great.
So second, write what the field asks for. Now, you want the reader not to be guessing. You really want to telegraph if you're looking for help. If you're looking to sell something, again, you're going to use the benefit to sell it, but you've got to be very clear. And often subject lines are a little bit of a mishmash, and they're not, it's confusing. They're not clear on what you want, so they just don't open it, right? And you just won't have open rates that you need to be able to get enough people, reading your message. Now, this third one is one that is very effective, and it absolutely gets the reader's attention, and you basically want to get them thinking. So you ask the question, I'll just make it up on the fly, but is your customer service department where you want it to be? Now, obviously, if somebody has the pain of having customer service department that's dropping the ball every time and you're getting tons of complaints, that's going to hit a nerve with them. But you can see it's very specific. Customer service department, not like, is your company not firing on all cylinders, right? That's too vague. And the answer is probably yes, but oh gosh, I don't want to go inside and try and figure out what you're all about. So you've got to be very specific. And a lot of people resist that because they think, okay, like customer service departments, I can help sales departments, I can help marketing departments. So once you do a proper job of qualifying your prospect and you know who they are, then you use that specificity to speak directly to them. So you may be able to help sales departments, you may be able to help marketing departments, but the one you send the customer service department to is the one where customer service plays a really big role in their business.
Right. That sounds good.
Okay. So avoid cryptic phrases. So this is sometimes okay on the outside of an envelope in direct mail. But as soon as they sort of detect that, there's some mystery or something about, and I'm not talking about piquing their curiosity, they're not going to try and figure out. This is kind of related to the one before. Nobody is going to work to figure out why they should open your email, especially when they don't know who you are, right? Makes sense?
Yeah. That's almost like clickbait kind of thing where they kind of go, oh, that sounds kind of spammy to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, this fifth one is the one I used above for making more sales. This works like crazy with the word "this" all in uppercase. So that implies to somebody that they want to know what that is if, they're curious. So basically, I've written here, are you making the sales letter mistake? Well, that immediately, anybody who sends out sales letters is going to react possibly in a couple of different ways. If they're already doing well, they'll be curious to see what the mistake is because obviously they could be doing better, right? And if they aren't doing well, of course, they're going to be interested. But you'll see as we just scroll back up here for a second, you'll see for generating sales, this works like crazy, right? So it's hard to resist that kind of thing. People are naturally curious.
Yeah, for sure.
And remember, you are talking to people, you're only interested in people that for whom sales is important. Now, it's important for most people, but people that aren't doing well are going to really respond well to this, or they're not at the level they want. The person who responded to this when I sent it out, he basically, my call to action was, would you like to get together for a chat? Some other things, would you like to get together for a chat? His response was, sure, why not?
Yeah.
When I got on the phone call with him, I learned very quickly he was very successful, but like many successful people, he's looking for more ways to be successful. right? So it was a good match, but
Excellent.
it got him to respond. Okay, so let's go back down here to number 6, use a deadline. Okay, if there is a time limit,
Mhm.
there's not any reason you can't say so in the using the subject line. Um, the reader has to understand why the deadline matters. Now, if it's a product, there's a finite number of them, only 49 left, order by, Thursday. Now, I'm the kind of person when I put them in, I wouldn't lie about something like that. That would be an honest headline from me if I put it in there. And to anybody who has a need for that product
Mhm.
or that service, I can only take on 3 clients a month doing this service. Don't wait too late. That has some meaning again to somebody who has the need.
Mhm.
That's the most important part.
What's the sense of urgency, right? You want them to act now rather than
Absolutely.
it's probably been on their to-do list for years in some cases, it's just
Yeah,
like,
that's
okay,
that's true.
yeah.
And I'll just say, don't forget, these are all different ways you can test and try and see what works for you.
Mhm.
Okay, stay away from the hype. We've all seen this. Triple your sales in 2 weeks, or I mean, it's ridiculous. As soon as you see it, it's basically you might as well be saying click here to delete.
Oh
No,
God, yeah. I
yeah,
know.
I mean, it's just we get them, and right away as soon as you get them, you delete them,
Oh,
right?
wait, there's more. There's
Yeah,
more. You know.
right. That's
Ah,
exactly right. And that's actually used so much. You know what more is. It's just another one of
oh,
the whatever it is you're going to order. You got a free one, right?
I know. I showed that infomercial to my class this week, and it's just like, oh my God. There's certain videos I can't even show anymore because they're so disgusting. The old Wolf of Wall Street and yeah,
Terrible,
uh,
just terrible. And a good barometer too, when you're, whatever the approach is, just think of how you reacted to it when you saw it. Now, you and I are looking at it through different eyes, yes, but we get pitched on stuff all the time, and you can tell who is out to sort of really help you and who's out just to make a fast buck,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I know. Sometimes
can
I
use
wonder. I wonder if do they read our headlines on LinkedIn? You're trying to sell to a sales coach or a
yeah,
market? Seriously? Like really?
absolutely. Now, these last two are quite interesting. So, remind readers they requested the information. And when I did this particular campaign, one of the things that I was careful to say, I would talk to, a particular prospect, and they'd say, "Yeah, send me some information." So I would send in the subject line, I would put copywriter information you requested,
Yeah.
something that would basically tell them, hey, no, as you're scanning through looking for emails to ditch, you asked for this,
Yeah.
right? So that gives you, I'd say 95% of the time a fighting chance of getting them to open it because they did
Mhm.
ask,
Yeah.
right? And but that's very very important once you get to the next stage, is make sure when somebody asks you to send information, remind them that they asked for it.
Well, that's what I
Uh,
do for like my lead magnet, the one that's automated from my website when they sign up for my newsletter, which is the 7 Secrets of Sales Success. And then they get that and it's automatic. Here's the information you asked for,
yes,
your secrets to sales success, and
yes, and a lot of marketers would make the mistake of putting, let's just say if it was a checklist, your free in the head, the subject line, they put your free checklist.
yeah,
Right? And
yeah.
right away, they've kind of relegated themselves to peddler,
Hmm.
and they may not get that opened.
No.
Now, this last one, sometimes you want to leverage the fact that you got a free offer, right? And that can be attractive, but you have to be very careful, for a couple of reasons how you position it. If you put the word free in a subject line, the spam filters 9 times out of 10 will pick it off. So it'll
Yeah.
never get there. So some people will type free, FR, and then put an asterisk and then EE, which
Mhm.
is a bit of a step up. But my kind of preferred way, depending what the situation is to use the word complimentary or no charge.
Yeah.
And that steers you clear of the spam filters. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to get past the skepticism of the prospect, but depending on how you word it, that at least will get your email reaching its mark, if you will.
Right.
And,
Good.
so those are 9 ways to get your email open. And remember, for all the time and energy you put into getting emails open, if they don't open it, then you're nowhere, right?
Yeah, so just to clarify the steps that you did on your successful
Yeah.
campaign, did I know on LinkedIn you can go to click on contact information and they sometimes have their emails there. Is that what you used and then used your like email thing, or did you send LinkedIn messages?
No, I did not send. That's a great question. I did not send LinkedIn messages. I
Okay.
have Sales Navigator, which is
Okay.
an upgrade, and that allows you to see the email address of your number 1 connections. So not everybody. Uh,
Mm,
there are,
that's a that's
yeah,
a that's a great reason to get Sales Navigator. I wasn't
it,
aware of that.
it's like $80 a month, which
Yeah.
isn't cheap, but
Yeah.
it paid for itself easily. This,
Oh gosh.
with
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
campaign. And these are tools. There's other tools. I don't know what they are. And I may do a thing on this one time. There's other tools that are very good at helping you guess what the email is if you
Yeah.
can't get it.
Yeah. It's like
But
first name dot last
yeah,
name at
yeah.
ibm.ca. Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for the most part, Sales Navigator will give you that information. Now, if you have a number, if you can check it too on your LinkedIn right now, if you do not have Navigator, what you'll see is you'll see the person. You'll have their you'll be able to respond to them within the LinkedIn platform, and you could go to their website and see if they have email listed there. Most don't. Most will have info at such and such, but on LinkedIn, they have, and most of the emails are good. They're Gmail.
Okay. Great.
So you've got a good chance of, getting through. So uh, a lot of people do this. So you've got to keep in mind, you have to make sure that what you put in front of them is something that is going to grab their attention. Most of the
Yeah.
stuff they get doesn't. There's a lot of crap out there that people send to the point where they're almost annoyed that people are hitting them up
I
through
know.
their LinkedIn list.
Yeah.
So you want to be the one that stands out and actually gives them something of value.
That's
And
right.
there's
Other thing that I love too is I use Mac Mail, but I think for a project like this, what I would do is use Gmail, and there's a tracking program add-on that you can do. So you could actually, if you're going to the trouble of doing this high touch, is then see who actually opens up your email. Maybe they don't respond to you, but then that's they in email marketing terms, they've got like 3 stars instead of just like 0 stars, right? So they, every time they click and you see their opening, it's like, because it takes time to nurture these leads, right? So maybe they clicked on, you had a question, and then maybe next week or 2 weeks you could send them, here's a deadline, here's a special offer. um that What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's a great point, and I have a spreadsheet. So everybody I mail out, these 247 names I mail out to, I've created a spreadsheet, so I know when I sent it, and I know what I sent them, and then I log their response,
Got it.
given what that is. It's all
Yeah.
dated. However, I have a friend who would like to know about that. I'm asking for a friend about to tell when they open the email.
Well,
Uh,
I
this friend of mine does not know how to do
how
that,
to
so
do that. Okay.
I'm asking ahead of time if just you can tuck that one in, and we can talk about it online, and I can forward the information to him when.
That would be great. That would be great. Okay. Him or her. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Fine.
exactly right.
Sure. Okay. I'm just thinking if there's certain, I'm not sure if HubSpot does that. So I haven't really used that. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, this is a huge subject, and I think we can go on and on, but you proved, so you got like a 1% 1% conversion rate, which is not too bad. How long, I'm just curious, how long did it take you to send out those
I'm
240?
gonna say it probably took me, maybe I didn't do it all at once, so if I
Okay.
had to kind of pull it all in, I'd say maybe 5 hours.
Wow.
and I
Wow.
basically ended up with two, 4-figure clients.
Yeah.
So that's time well spent for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think even the 1%, rule, I don't really know if it applies here because you really only need one or two hits
Yeah.
to get a pretty significant ROI from your efforts.
Yeah.
And plus, uh, during that process, I had a number of people that I'd probably had certainly another 5 or 6, 7 agencies that said, we do hire, we're not hiring right now, but we'll put you on the list. I
Yep.
did also have 3 or 4 that said, we're looking for a copywriter. So those conversations, again, expand using email, but they never would have started had I not kind of reached out this way.
Yeah.
And this really was painful. You do have to write the email that gets them to respond, but it's not a long one.
Mhm.
And we can maybe take a look at examining some of those, in a future show.
Yeah, that sounds really beneficial. So I'm going to be recommending this to one of my best friends, accountability partner, Helen, because she wants to do an outreach, and this is a super way for her to have a bit of a of a format to try
Yeah.
out, and even upgrading to Sales Navigator so she gets the emails. Like that's a huge bonus. Where
Hmm.
I thought I was a bit of a LinkedIn queen, but obviously not, because I need to get Sales Navigator again. So
Well,
this
it's a huge time saver if you're going to use it. If you're not going to use it, then it's, $80 a month that just keeps, going out. But if you're going to use it, I mean, it cuts through a lot of, time consuming legwork, right?
the other thing, Jerry, is that you can sign on for Navigator. I know I have a 30-day free trial. Is after that 30-day, I can say stop,
Yeah.
right? If I'm too busy, and start again in 3 to 6 months, right? And you just go on for a month, get your 2 or 3 clients, and then stop it. So you don't actually have to be paying for those months where you don't need it.
Yeah, some of them have gotten wise to that.
Oh,
I had that happen to me about a week ago. I signed on for a free trial, and I got a very politely worded email back saying, "You can only apply for the free trial once." So,
oh
but
dear.
I wrote back. I said, "But Patty said
I
no."
know. Just use another email. Just that's why I
Yeah.
have 5 emails, right? So
Yeah, I think some of these organizations, at least the ones that didn't just fall up the turnip truck, I think they've figured out there's things they need to
yeah,
do to
yeah.
safeguard their
That's right.
property.
I think Zoom's got into that, because I used to, like, when I was doing some group coaching, is I'd log on and get the upgrade for unlimited multi per people,
Yeah,
and then cancel it the next month or 3 months, and they're kind of now it's like you have to sign on for a year basically. I think
yeah.
it all varies, but that's great. What a great show, Jerry. Lots of great insights, and this is something every person can do. And if they want consulting on good subject lines for their client base, for their target market, okay, you're a great resource, right?
Well, happy to help. And the thing is, too, as you and I both know and talk about often, prospecting can be a real big mountain, for some people to kind of get into it. This is a way to ease in. And what I think you'll find is people are very nice. If you approach them properly and whatnot, you'd be surprised how many people say, no, thanks, not right now. Or, and that gives you a little bit of confidence for your in-person or maybe your phone calls, right? A
Yeah.
lot of these people on this list of this 247, I phoned them first
Oh,
to
okay.
get an email address, and that was mostly with the agencies, and because they typically do not have a direct email address. You want to find out who it should be sent to, because unless they tell you to send it to info, right? Unless if they say that, and like I've during this little campaign, I talked to a number of principals at these agencies. They just said, send it to info, I'll look out for it. So
Okay.
that's different than just sending it in cold, because you just send it in cold, chances are you're just, it's not going to get anywhere. So but this is a way to get your feet wet in prospecting, and you're not quite out there, especially if you're going LinkedIn and you use those email addresses. See what happens. Nothing can happen to you over the computer, and you'd be
Hmm.
surprised at how many people do say, yeah, I think we do have some interest, or in fact become clients.
Right. Okay, I guess we should wrap up. But before we wrap up, today is September 30th, and I just wanted to give a short promo. I'm part of a sales hackathon online event next week, October 6th and 7th. So if you want to go into how to use LinkedIn as a prospecting tool, there's a session on that. I'm personally doing a session on negotiation to win-win, and there's lots of other things. Well, I'll put the link in the content. So for further information. And if you sign up early enough, you get $100 off. And it really is a bargain at
Nice.
250 bucks. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be
Great. We'll watch for it.
fun. Okay, Gerry, thanks again for all your insights, and see you next week.
All
Bye.
right. Bye,
Bye.
Patty.